Hello, Maverick traders, and welcome out to your daily currency recap. This is Ankit here, and I'll be breaking down today's market price action and most importantly, talk about our upcoming 24 hours. Let's get into it. As always, we'll be taking a look at the broader market analysis, take a look at what's moving the market, what the currency basket is telling us, take a look at the news, and then we'll talk about some potential setups ahead. Let's get into it.
Disclaimer. This video was created for professional stock and option traders. Maverick Trading is a proprietary trading firm that employs professional traders around the world. Our traders trade firm capital and keep 70 to 80% of profits they generate. All trades and analysis in this video are for professional traders only. If you are interested in becoming a professional trader for Maverick, click the apply button in the video description. Let's break down what happened today.
So jumping into the market analysis, well, another active day in the markets, and let's just jump right into the headline. So you can see that the market rallied higher today after reversing some intraday losses. So you can see that, we have this common theme, where the markets are going from either starting off bullish and turning on bearish, and then vice versa. Today we started off on a negative note, and then we just recovered and had a bit of a rally here. So, the market volatility continues. Overall, we don't really have a strong trend in place. So, we expect a couple of days down, one day up. That's exactly what we're getting here. Now, there's a lot of movement. We have all this movement in the dollar. We're looking at the yen, but then, there's a lot of movement that's happening in this euro. And if you really start reading about this, a lot of this euro move is coming from that record surge in the bond yields, and that's the biggest surge since 1998. And if you want to read a little bit more about it, there's something called a debt break. They want to sort of lift that the ceiling here on the debt, so then they can actually do more like 800 billion in infrastructure and defense spending. So that is of course going to be inflationary, and we are seeing that in that price action here. The yields are surging higher, bond is just collapsing. That's the reason why we're seeing it. So this is definitely unprecedented. We haven't, the debt break has been in place since 2009, I think. So, since the financial crisis. So we're seeing this unprecedented move, and it'll be interesting to see how this unfolds. We've seen already a record surge. But I just wanted to bring that to everyone's attention, like why we are seeing it. And this is, I'll show the data later on when we look at the charts. But, we are in this record territory as far as, the movement goes. And this is where we want to, things might not make sense, but there's definitely a lot of forces behind it that's moving it. So again, we can see a massive rise. We can see a pullback, but definitely watch out for some of the euro volatility here. Now, outside of that, the intraday volatility continues. So you're looking at risk on and risk off, meaning that, is the market surging higher or is the market going lower? We're definitely noticing a lot of back and forth. We are also seeing the tariff news of really moving the market. Today we saw a bit of a relief when we got the news that the Trump administration is giving a 1 month, exemption for auto. So that provided a bit of a relief rally. Again, we're not seeing any new development coming through, but again, small little development there. But expect some of that to continue. We are not really out of the woods yet. I think market likely to stay volatile. Now, let's just take a look at the percentage change today. You can see that today, when we take a look at the currency market, definitely a lot of movement, especially if you go into euro. And we had a massive move in the Swiss franc, and that was definitely caught a lot of traders off guard. We didn't see the yen move as much today. You can see that yen is just absent. So we're definitely noticing certain currencies becoming more active and certain currencies are just not. I mean, today was not a good day if you're trading the yen crosses. But if you're trading the Swiss franc crosses or the euro crosses, that's really where the movement was. Now, outside of that, Canadian dollar continues to lag. And we're seeing some developments. The dollar CAD's backing off, but really not really seeing a broader move in the CAD here. The currency basket on the CAD is still sort of on the negative side. And then as the risk on rally emerge in the markets, we're seeing the Aussie and the Kiwi doing really well. So again, volatile times, you're looking at markets, last night, Aussie was down, Kiwi was down, and then we see a big flip. So this is a market where, things can change really fast and you just have to take it day by day. Now, taking a look at outside of that, here's the S&P up 1.11%, World Stock Index up as well. Crypto markets up. Gold is flat and oil is down quite big. Again, we're seeing the oil output is going to be raised. So, that's not really good for the oil market. So seeing a bit of a selling pressure there. Now, in this crypto world, everything was kind of normal. Like this move out of Bitcoin Cash kind of surprised me. Again, 22%. But again, I'm mostly following Ethereum or the Bitcoin prices. And, those were quite normal here. So nothing out of the ordinary except this Bitcoin Cash. Now let's just jump into this outlook and where we are. So here's a chart for S&P. You can see that we are in this low downward trend. We are below the 20 and 50. Rob talked about this yesterday briefly, how we are in this market where we have some support, but a lot of times what we're noticing is that these rallies these rallies are getting sold. So the question is, when we take a look at the day yesterday, it was a pretty bearish day. Today we're getting a bit of a reversal here. Now, could we rally further? We could, but I think that's where we gotta take a look at it on a day-to-day basis, see if there's any sort of follow through. But in current market conditions, you want to be careful for sort of follow through, especially on a rebound, because every time we rebound, market starts to sell off. This is the last 2 weeks. You can see there's only one good rebound day. So, if you're trading mostly on the risk off side, you're doing much better if you're compared to going a risk on. Now, when we take a look at these news events, among what's going on, we have this ECB rate statement. That's tomorrow. They're expected to cut rates. Again, clearly, Euro is doing its own thing. It's not really affected or moving along the lines with what the ECB is going to do. But again, we'll see what happens with the Euro tomorrow. Again, I'm not, where we are in the Euro. I'll show you the charts, but, I think we want to maybe kind of leave the Euro alone for a little bit here till we figure out or see some sort of stability or in those yields, because that's driving the movement in the Euro here. So it looks very extended, but at the same time, it's still very strong. Now, we have on Friday the jobs report, and that's going to be another one. If you look at jobs report today, that was much lower than expectation. They came out at 77,000 versus 141. So I wouldn't be surprised if the numbers come out a little weaker on Friday. So again, that's going to be another strategy session on that one. See how we're going to trade that news. But like I said, next 24 hours, we have, take it day by day. Tomorrow, next 24 hours, we have this Euro summit. We have the ECB rate statement. So, perhaps we'll take a look at Euro and see where we can find an opportunity there. So let's just jump into our currency analysis and let's just take a look at things one by one.
Do you want to be a professional trader? Maverick Currencies is the oldest US-based Forex and crypto prop trading company that will pay you for trading with our capital. Trade our capital and keep 70 to 80% of the profits. We are looking for traders just like you that are hardworking and motivated. Click the apply link on the top right of this video to see if you have what it takes. That link takes you to a 4-minute video that explains the trader position available, and you read a list of FAQs that answer pretty much all the basic questions you have at this point. After watching the video and reading the FAQs, if you're interested, fill out an application, then you'll watch the full-length recruiting video, and then schedule an interview with one of our traders. Are you our next trader?
So let's just take a look at currency baskets. I'm going to start, the first thing is with this Euro. So you can see that this is a record surge. I'm actually going to go into, kind of show this percentage move here. So if you go into the Euro over here, and take a look at look at surge that we have on a weekly percentage change, you can see that we are sitting at the largest gain. And go back in time, I think it was, we had this little pop over here in 2022, but really going back to 2020, when COVID was happening. You can see that this is sort of a unprecedented record sort of move here. So I know this is getting traders off guard here. See, how do I trade this? This thing, of course, looks very extended. So at this point, if you want to jump on that news, again, I don't really recommend, jumping on something that's already moved so much. Now, if you take a look at it on a chart basis, I mean, this is a 4-hour chart, and you can see the thing is, still not reversing yet. After a big a run like that, sometimes we see that it get tired and pull back. But based on today's close, I'm not really seeing that either. So again, this is an hourly chart. You can see it's just basing here. So this is where I would say it's not a great buy and it's not a great sell. If this yields that start to stabilize, or maybe we see it's a bit of a rally in the bond market, I wouldn't be surprised if euro sort of back off. But as of now, I mean, it looks very extended, but again, no signs of reversal yet. So I don't really love it here. We'll watch the price action in the euro and then kind of see, especially tomorrow when we get the ECB rate statement, see if we see any more activity off of that. Now, I want to show you the bond yields. So here's the 10-year bond yields for the euro, and you can see that this is a record jump here. I mean, a massive gap higher, and that's why you're seeing euro being so strong today. So, so definitely a lot of external, things they're affecting the price of the euro. And if this sort of pull back a little bit, well, I think the euro sort of will pull back with it as well. So, and if this continues to surge higher, and as much as the euro looks pretty extended, I think we'll probably continue searching higher. So we kind of getting used to with this unprecedented move here. Now, outside of that, let's just take a look at how the other currencies are doing. And let's just start with the currency baskets here. Let's start with the yen. As you can see, that yen looks like it wants to go lower. I mean, here we are topping out in this little area. I'm going to zoom out, and you can see 1, 2, 3. 3 times we have kind of topped around that area. But then as we go in the lower time frame, you can see that it looks like it wants to break lower. Moving average is kind of flipped here. Let's pull the velocity chart on this one. As you can see that this thing looks like it wants to go lower. And especially if the market sentiment sort of stay risk on for a little bit, I think this could pull back. But clearly today, this was not the currency in play. You can see that it had a big move yesterday, but not a big move today. And that's what we are seeing in this market is you got to stick with the velocity and see what's really moving. And, spending time with any yen crosses today was not worthwhile. And there's a lot of movement of the currencies. Looking at the dollar, dollar, you can see that it continues to be the weaker currency. It's definitely kind of losing that safe haven status during this, this whole tariff wars. So we're definitely not seeing that. But looking at this dollar here is definitely a good sort of currency to kind of short on rallies. You can see that, there are rallies coming in here, one rally here, and there's another rally here. So, it's kind of sitting at the lows of the day. I wouldn't be surprised we see a bit of a rally, but that seems to be the sort of a trend over here. And on the daily chart, you can see this thing looks a little bit more weaker to me. Now, the another surprise today was that Swiss franc. I mean, take a look at that move. And this was, again, one of the biggest daily drop that we have seen percentage-wise. So, we are range-bound, but you can see that how many days it's been up and up and up and up. And then we got a massive day down today. So, this is where, how much this has to do with this whole euro bond yields. I mean, maybe they had some connection to it. But yeah, it's definitely surprising that, not only, we got the biggest move percentage-wise today was the euro Swiss franc. And if you really look back at that percentage change, I mean, unprecedented as well. And if you look at the last, few years, we haven't really seen that big record surge like this. So at this point, looks extended, looking for some basis of pullbacks. But again, I think if the euro with this kind of gain, it's sort of a little risky here. Now, if we go into pound is again continues to be an outperformer. Clearly, euro is the one that's taking the chart here. But outside of that, you can see this is the pound's a little bit more consistent here. So if I look at the 4-hour chart, it's bullish. It's very orderly going up. Now, the Canadian dollar, we can see that this thing, we got some development, but nothing really can really lift the Canadian dollar right now. So you can see that this thing is still kind of under the rocks here. So if this basket can turn, definitely I'll take a look at it. But right now, not really worth the CAD here to the long side. I think there's still downward pressure here. Now, Australian dollar, you can see that this thing has been under downward pressure, and then we just got a little turnaround today here. I want to take a look at the daily chart because this is where, the prior support now becomes a resistance. So how did we close today? You can see that we did kind of pierce it through. It did look like it kind of closed a little above it, but at the same time, we got an overhead resistance. So as much as I liked it, I want to be a little wary of this one. Maybe look for some base and see. If this continues to move on like this, then I think we're back in that range. So we could probably see a further continuation here. But for now, I think we're going to be a little bit more cautious here, especially as we go into this Asian session and tomorrow. We have no idea how the equity market is going to do. And, that the broader market is really driving some of the movements here. And here we are with the Kiwi kind of doing the same thing. So these things, again, they were downtrend. They had a, prior support is now the resistance. So at this point, we just have to kind of wait and see what kind of setup we get and what kind of continuation we get. This is an hourly chart. You can see pretty much a one-sided move today. So I think this all is going to come down to the continuity, and which is, again, something that's lacking in the current markets. So if the market stays positive, I wouldn't be surprised if the Aussie or the Kiwi stays strong. If if the market does pull back, and let's just take a look and see how the market did close today. No, I didn't really see any big selling coming in today, but at the same time, we are not really seeing a big surge into the close. So I think this is where market still is a little bit hesitant here. This is the S&P or the chart here, the futures market. As you can see that it didn't really, we did rally today, but then we kind of stall right here. So if this needs to continue, it needs to kind of break out further. And I think that's where we'll probably see some continuity. So that's really where we are with the velocity. Again, euro is at a +3. We got dollar at a -3. But as we get these extreme readings, there could be some sort of relief rallies or pullbacks. So just kind of watch out for that. And then here we are. I think pound looks more orderly here. So pound will be the definitely the next second choice. And then here we are with the weakness. Swiss franc had a big drop, so I think this probably will sort of go sideways a little bit here. And then I think the next big trade probably be in the yen, because yen hasn't moved today. But if that's the currency that's going to move overnight, something we're going to take a look at in the charts. So let's just jump into the possible trades ahead and let's take a look at it. All right, let's just jump with some of the yen crosses here first. We'll take a look at dollar crosses too. You can see that this thing is nicely trending lower. The big question is where's the next big move, or what's going to be in play in the next 24 hours? Let's take a look at the dollar yen. You can see that dollar yen, it's still holding on to the support, and this is why if you are trying to figure out should I go with the dollar and the yen. When the dollar yen is kind of in the neck of the woods here, it kind of sometimes makes it difficult because, one day dollar yen is up, one day dollar yen is down. So we're seeing a lot of back and forth. So at this point, you can see that the support still is there. On the daily chart, if you're trading the trend, of course, you want to be short the dollar and long the yen. But if you look at this pattern over here, I think we're just kind of stuck getting some rallies in this area here. So it's not so clear if you would go with the dollar, the yen. I think they're kind of doing the same thing. But when I take a look at this yen chart, I think at this point, it looks like yen can pull back a little bit further here. So in this case, what should I go with? Let's take a look at how euro yen is doing. This thing is already kind of on the overbought zone over here. Let's go with the pound yen. Pound yen had a nice little recovery here. So again, a further breakout above it. We'll open that window here. I think most importantly, we'll take a look at Aussie against the yen. As you can see that this one has room to run. So, definitely want to be looking for pullbacks to kind of buy into if you're going for that continuation. But when you take a look at this exponential moving average, we're still below it. So this will get bullish as we break above these levels. So that's the current level. Again, we got a nice little rally here, but still a little tricky which way it's going to go. So a lot of yen crosses that I'll be paying close attention to, but pay attention to the dollar yen. Trying to figure out which way it's going to go. Let's take a look at euro. Euro USD. I mean, you can see that this thing, it's at already had some big move here. So here we are, 1, 2, 3 day of big record run. So at this point, do I want to buy it here? Like I said, this is a tough one because my rule says don't chase anything. But when you look at the price action, like this thing is still like after a big run, it's basing. So it's not even reversing here, but giving us a short-term top. So I think this thing is tricky. But I think if you want to pay attention to the bond yields, take a look at 10-year and then see, if this pulls back, I think we'll probably see some relief in the euro here as well. So I don't want to touch the euro until tomorrow when we get the ECB and see if there's any sort of reversal off of it. I'll be looking at it either way. For this to sort of reverse, we need to see a break below this exponential moving average. You can see price action is so strong that it continues to stay above it. So that's, again, the game plan here. The volatility remains high. This is where we can end the day and go into another day with a whole, different momentum, and then we get a whole different thing the following day. So this is where, continuity can be tricky. So pay attention to the broader markets, pay attention to the risk trends. And if there's a change there, then we know market momentum is shifting. As long as everything kind of stays in place, we'll probably see continuity there. So, that's the way we want to trade the markets here. We can have a rally for a day or two, but that doesn't mean that we are now in a new trend. We can still kind of go back and forth. So that's the game plan. Trade accordingly. I think there's definitely opportunities, but you want to make sure that you're trading the right strategy and the right time frame for that market condition. Well, thanks for joining here. See you in the next one. Happy trading.